everybody, welcome to the Very Vibrant Makeup channel. Today I'm actually very excited. I was kind of anticipating this launch. I didn't expect it to be in like Sephora stores yet, but I went to, I was Christmas shopping for my family and I stumbled across this. I'm so excited. The Lolita palette plus the Lolita Glimmer Veil. Now there was the eyeliner as well, but I didn't pick that one up just because I'm like, I don't know. I haven't had the best of luck with her liquid eyeliner, so I hadn't tried the Inkwell. I probably should have picked it up, but I figure I'm always like thinking, what do I have at home that is similar and I don't need it? So I figured I would just use my Lolita liquid lipstick, which I've had, and it's my favorite color. This is definitely a repurchase. I'm like, it's the same exact color, and you can use her liquid liners or liquid lipsticks as a liner. So I figured, you know what, I'm just going to use this as the liner, even though I could probably very well review the liquid liner, but you know, I'm frugal. I was actually very fascinated with the actual palette. A little bit. I was just like, you know what, I've had so many palettes that are just like that, but at the same time I'm like, but I love my Lolita eyeshadow. This is my favorite thing. Now, I did do a video using this entire shadow on my face and my eyes. If you want to see that, I will link that down below, but I absolutely love this color. It's gorgeous. It's my favorite color of all time, as you can see. Very gorgeous, like a mauve, and it matches the lipstick perfectly. So when I saw that there was a Lolita eyeshadow palette, I flipped a lid. I was like, more colors, and Lolita is in this eyeshadow palette. So this is what the packaging looks like. Very cool art. And then on the back, it has all the shades. So it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 shades for $39, which is not bad. I would say my Kat Von D collection is a little bit vast, so I will compare it to another eyeshadow palette that I do own from Kat Von D and see the size difference. Definitely the size of the Pastel Goth. Pastel? I don't know. Pastel Goth. Pastel Goth. I don't know how to say it. Is it pastel or pastel? I say pastel, I think, but sometimes it let it slip that it's pastel. I don't know why. But this is the pastel I can't even say it, Goth palette, and this one I truly do love. As you can see, it has been much loved. It's more, I pick it up in the spring when I want to wear softer colors, but it's all matte. And the Lolita palette is the exact same size as the Pastel Goth. And then I compared it to my Divine palette. What is this? Yeah, it's the Divine palette. So, exact same layout as the Pastel Goth. Like they're exact. Sorry, I'm like trying to juggle this layout. Exact layout. And with the Lolita palette, I'm going to open it. Hope you guys are excited because these colors are very pretty and a vast difference. Let's see if I can hold all three of them. As you can see, they're all pretty much the same layout. The Divine palette, or the Pastel Goth, is more pastel colors that are softer and matte. The Divine palette has a little bit, and I didn't review this one because I'm like, I've done a lot of reviews, but if you do want me to kind of, I think this is still on sale on Sephora's website, but this one might be getting discontinued, so I don't know if I want to do it at this point. But this has very vivid colors, but more cooler blues and greens. And then Lolita has the mauve shades. So this kind of reminds me of the Cherry palette. I, in turn, did not really like the Cherry palette, just because I felt like the formulas were very dry and hard to blend. This one was much creamier. However, there is a lot of kick, and I will show you. When you kind of brush it's a lot of kick. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but there's a lot of kick. I barely tapped Corazon, and look at that. Look at all that fallout. And then It's a lot. But nonetheless, these do blend extremely well, so I was very excited. So let's get into some live swatching of, so this is an entire matte palette. No shimmers in this palette at all. So if you are in the market for matte eyeshadows, I definitely would recommend this. If you have like brown eyes, I feel like if you have blue eyes, it might be a little too intense, but if you have brown eyes, it actually helps your brown eyes pop a little more. So the first shade is called Promesa, and that I used to set my eyeshadow. I used it also in the inner portion of my lid and my brow bone. It's a very pretty soft matte pink, very creamy. Next shade is Besitos, and I love how these are Spanish because she is of Mexican descent, so she's Mexican American. I love that. I think she's half German, half Mexican, so she does speak Spanish, which is really nice. I don't know, I just love to see Latinas out there. This is a very beautiful mauve matte. Next shade is Recuerdos. I love that shade. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. It's by far one of my favorite shades. Next shades is called Hermosura. Oh, that's so pretty. See, it's just beautiful mauves. I love mauves. So there's the first 4 shades. Next 4 shades. And they're very soft to the touch. I think the only one that's a little bit rougher is Eterno, which is the darkest shade. Now the next shade is Con Amor. That's a nice, it's almost like a reddish mauve. And then Lolita. Whoops. The next shade is Lolita or Lolita. And I absolutely love that. It's the same exact color as in this little eyeshadow, the single eyeshadow she came out with. That one sold out quickly, so I'll swatch that right next to it. They're the exact same shade, very pretty. I absolutely love how that reddish tone really shows through, and it really does complement my skin tone. So if you're olive skin tone, the mauves are really, really nice to have. I really like it. Okay, so the next shade is Corazon, and that's the matte berry color. And then the darkest shade is Eterno, and it's not at all patchy. Look at that. Not at all patchy. Beautiful shades. I'm excited to use them. I enjoyed this. So let's get into the swatch of the Glimmer Veil. This one is the Lolita Glimmer Veil. I collect these. I feel like these are super pretty. They dry down. So there is the Glimmer Veil shade. It's not as intense as the other Glimmer Veils, I feel, but it's a that Lolita shade with a gold shift to it. So it has a really pretty gold shift, and I put on Lolita liquid lipstick, and then I topped it off with this. And usually if you top off the lipstick or liquid lipstick with the Glimmer Veil, you don't find staining, because I noticed that in my, and I'll link down the swatches of the ones that I had purchased. I now have all of them. So if you want me to swatch the entire range of the Glimmer Veils, I will do a swatch video just for you guys. So if you want to see all the Glimmer Veils, even though they're on sale and not all of them are available still, let me know, and I can definitely do a swatch video just for fun. But it's a very pretty formula. It dries down. You get and it's beautiful, it's sparkly. I feel like this one does accentuate the lines of my lips, so it's not as intense as the other ones, but it's also it kind of intensifies the lines of my lips. That's the only thing I don't like about it. It makes them look a little dry, even though I've exfoliated. But I feel like this is gorgeous, and I did use it on top of the Lolita liquid lipstick as a liner, so I feel like it does complement a lot of like skin tones, and I feel like it is comfortable enough to wear. So yeah, definitely loving these 2 items. Again, I didn't get the Inkwell Lolita liner just because I have the liquid lipstick and I could use it as a liner, and I use my liquid lipsticks as liners sometimes, so I feel like I didn't need it, so that's the reason why. Alright, so now that we've done the swatches, let's get into the tutorial so you can see how it performs on my eye. overall thoughts on this eyeshadow palette. I'm in love, and I didn't think I would be. At first, when I picked it up, I was like, I'm not going to like this. I really am not going to like this, just because it's, to me, it seems kind of standard. It seems kind of boring. I love eyeshadow palettes. Like, my favorite one that I still use to this day, absolutely love it, and I know it's had a lot of mixed reviews on it. I use it quite often, is the Fetish palette. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. I love the shades in this palette. I feel like it's vivid and it drew my attention. So this was actually my birthday present for my husband. I love it, absolutely love it. Another palette that I absolutely love using is the 10-year anniversary palette, which is super, super vivid, and that draws my attention as well. I don't use this as much, but I need to start using it more. I find that when I get excited about eyeshadow palettes that just launch, I forget about my other palettes, so I've had to actually do a palette purge so that I can kind of really focus on those palettes that I've actually gotten to collect and also to use. I need to start resurfacing some palettes. So I actually want to do a series in the new year of revisiting old palettes. Now, I might not have every single palette because I do purge my collection often, but I will definitely do an updated version of my palette collection soon, probably before the holiday or the new year, just so that we can kind of gauge, maybe I can showcase an eyeshadow palette a month and use it as just a tutorial and just kind of talk about why I purchased it and if I still love it. Maybe that can help me kind of really narrow down my palette collection, because I really have a lot. I love eyeshadow palettes. Absolutely love eyeshadow palettes. They're my favorite thing on the whole wide world. I will say that I've actually passed on my Jaclyn Hill Vault collection. I got rid of Bling Boss just because I just don't really care for it anymore, and although they're beautiful colors, it's similar to my raspberry palette from Too Faced, so I feel like it's very similar. So I was like, I really don't need it. I don't need it. So I kind of like passed it on, and then yeah, there's some palettes that I've just kind of like, I'm done with you for now. I'm gonna move on to the next thing. But I actually never, the only things I've actually gotten rid of that was Kat Von D was her first palettes, like not the first palettes, but like the Chrysalis palette, the Monarch palette, Interstellar, and the original Shade and Light packaging. I did repurchase the original Shade and Light with the new packaging when it was on sale at Marshall's. I do use this quite often now, so I'm like, I don't know. I don't know why I got rid of those palettes. I don't know why I did that. I've missed them terribly, and I'm like, I can never get it back. So I do have to be careful when I purge my eyeshadow palette, and if you're wondering what I do with them, I either pass them on to like a friend or someone in my family, or I just, you know, put them in my makeup kit and I never use them again, and I'll use them on someone else. Those ones, I think I gave them to somebody in Denver, so I don't even know where they went. Like, I don't know if they even stayed with that person, so I don't know. Overall thoughts: I enjoyed this eyeshadow, so I thoroughly enjoy an entire palette dedicated to the Lolita shade, because it's a gorgeous shade, very beautiful. I feel like it is kind of goth. I feel like it's kind of wearable. I feel like there's a Hispanic heritage to this. I don't know why, but I just feel the names, of course, like Besitos and Recuerdos and Con Amor. I don't speak Spanish, but I can pronunciate it a little bit better, because it was taught to me to do that. Even though my parents didn't speak Spanish to us, my mom was from Mexico. She was Mexican born, and my dad was actually the first child in his family to be born in America. So my parents have a very strong Hispanic heritage. They didn't, you know, take that from us. We actually, you know, we do celebrate our heritage a lot, and I cook a lot of like Hispanic foods that my mom used to cook, stuff like that. She taught me how to pronunciate the words. Unfortunately, they didn't teach us Spanish, and that's like a generation thing. I tell people that a lot, and they're like, well, that's still no excuse. I'm like, no, you can't blame my parents for that just because they weren't ashamed of their heritage. They were very proud of it. It's just, they just didn't teach it. And I don't know if it was a generation thing or they told us we didn't want to learn. I don't recall that. It's just where I was from, where I lived in Las Cruces and in Albuquerque, at the time it was a little different. So, I mean, I can go into great detail about that, but I don't feel like a lot of people would understand my situation just because you had to have grown up with me to understand, you know what I mean? But I can pronounce the words and I know what the words mean. I can't speak it, but I can definitely understand it. But I love this Hispanic heritage to this palette. I really do. I love it. But I absolutely love this palette. Bar none, my favorite Kat Von D palette of all time. I feel like it complements my skin tone a lot. I feel like it's very, very comfortable. It's very creamy. It blended well. It performed well. The shades are just gorgeous, and I think this is going to be my new natural palette. And then, of course, the Glimmer Veil I felt like did kind of accentuate the lines of my lips. It's not as intense as the other Glimmer Veils, but nonetheless, I really, really do like it. I enjoy the Glimmer Veils thoroughly. They're my favorite formula from Kat Von D. I don't know why she's discontinuing them, but I miss them. I love them. They're so good. I hope she comes out with more shades, like something along the lines of like a silver or a rose gold. I mean, I felt like Thunderstruck was a little bit more peach than rose gold, but definitely I really want to see her expand the shades a little bit more or just make a new shade range because she's discontinuing them. But I really, really like this. The problem is it just accentuates the lines in my mouth, on my lips, and it doesn't feel dry. This is my second purchase of Lolita, so I really love Lolita as a whole. So overall thoughts, I enjoyed this collection, even though I got 2 pieces from it, but I do enjoy the Lolita color. I felt like this palette was super, super good. I would definitely recommend. So if you are looking for a nice, beautiful, soft palette and you love the purples and the mauves and the pinks, I definitely would pick this up. As far as like with the Cherry palette from Urban Decay that has the same color range, but it has shimmers in it, I feel like this one performs way better, at least the mattes do. They're not dry and choppy and gross. I mean, yes, they have a lot of kick, but they're very creamy to the touch, and they blend very nicely. So if you weren't sure about the Cherry palette but still want that color range, pick up the Lolita. It's very good. And I know a lot of people don't like Kat Von D because of her anti-vax stance. I appreciate her as an artist and a makeup developer, but I don't know her as a person, so I can't really say anything because I don't know her personally. I don't know what to say. Like, yes, I vaccinate my kids. I'm very strong about it, and I'm not going to get into that really in this video, but I mean, I absolutely do love the artistry involved in the Kat Von D beauty line, so that's why I purchased it. I love Jeffree Star, you know. I just got a taste of Jeffree Star finally, and I absolutely am head over heels over his stuff. So a lot of developers in makeup aren't perfect. We all are humans, so I feel like if you can give me a good product, I will purchase it. So that's what it boils down to. So thank you guys so much for watching my video. I apologize for my poofy hair. I want to do natural waves today just because I'm feeling this look. So definitely feeling the waves today. So thank you guys so much for watching my video. I hope you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next one.